and welcome back to the Devils in the Detail podcast. I'm Isla.
I'm Addison.
And I'm Raylyn.
Today we welcome Brian Newberry, who is Naval Academy's head football coach.
The Naval Academy is one of our service academies that prepare young men and women to enter to the Navy or Marines after graduation. The Naval Academy is located in Maryland's state capital of Annapolis.
Coach Newberry played college football at Baylor.
He started his coaching career in 1999 and was a semifinalist for the Boils and won in 2019, which is given to the best assistant in college football. Coach was named head coach in 2022 and helped them to Armed Forces Bowl win in 2024. They are currently 3-0 this year. Now let's get into the interview.
Coach Newberry, thanks for being on our podcast with us today. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Thank you guys so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Now let's get into the questions.
Sounds good.
We read that you were a tour guide for a few months after college. What was that experience like?
Man, you guys did do your research, didn't you? Yeah, so it was after I graduated from college, and I was kind of trying to figure some things out, and I had some time in between, and so I'd had a friend that had worked up at Glacier National Park in Montana the summer before and talked a lot about it. And I grew up in Oklahoma and hadn't been a lot of places. And I thought the idea of going out to Montana and doing something on my own was really exciting. I love the outdoors and love to hike and fish and do all that stuff. And so I did it. I was up there for about 6 months and there was a tour guide. And if you guys have never been to Glacier National Park, I highly encourage you to talk to your parents to taking you out there one summer because it is absolutely beautiful. And so I had a great time out there for 6 months, got to meet a lot of really wonderful and interesting people, got to do a lot of hiking and fishing and a lot of wildlife. And it was really, really good time. And advice I would give you if you ever have an opportunity to do something like that before you start life in the real world, before you start a real job, so take a little bit of time and do something like that on your own. But it was a great experience for me, and I would do it all over again if I could.
We saw pictures and it looked beautiful.
It is.
Yeah.
Absolutely gorgeous.
What was your favorite part of working there?
Being outside every day, and I did tour guides, so we had these old antique buses, and they were convertibles, and so I would take groups of 8 to 12 people. I would talk to them about the park, the wildlife, the landscape, and all those things. Take them on little hikes, and so it was interesting to be around different people every day, and to be in the park and all that beauty, and it looked different every day, and got to see a lot of wildlife and met a lot of really, really neat people.
It sounds really fun.
Yeah.
Definitely
What hobbies do you have outside of football?
Outside of football, well, going back to that experience, I love the outdoors. So anytime I get outside and hike, I love to fish, fly fishing in particular, which I learned to do when I was up there and kind of fell in love with that. But, I've always had an affinity for photography. I picked up a camera when I was pretty young, and that's something that I still a hobby of mine to this day, but love taking photographs and hiking, being in the outdoors.
What has been your favorite experience coaching at the Naval Academy?
Favorite experience at the Naval Academy? Well, every day is pretty awesome around here, I'll tell you that, but it's hard to beat winning the CIC, which is the Commander-in-Chief's trophy. So amongst the 3 academies, if you can beat both the other academies, you win the Commander-in-Chief trophy. And that's a big deal around here. That's our number one goal. And so we play that game at the end of the year in December, and winning that game, winning that trophy, and celebrating with our players and our fans and then getting to go to the White House to meet the president later on in the spring after we do that is a pretty awesome experience and probably my most memorable, enjoyable moment here at the Academy so far.
I feel like meeting the president is such like a big achievement.
Yeah.
Yeah, I tell you what, I'd never been to the White House, and that's a pretty neat experience in and of itself. And they were really good to us when we were there, and President Trump was very warm and engaging and treated us really, really well. So we got to take all of our most of our players and our staff there, and it was a great experience for sure.
What's it like being a part of the Army Navy rivalry?
Man, it's a lot of fun. I'll tell you that. It is one of the biggest rivalries in college football, if not the biggest. And it's a fun thing to be a part of because it's two teams that are a lot alike, with players that are going to be officers in our military, our armed forces, and to get to go out and play that game against each other, even though it's a bitter rivalry, there's a ton of respect there for both sides. Being a part of that game, it's hard to explain. If you guys ever get the opportunity to go, whether you like football or not, it's a great experience. Just the patriotism that you feel when you're there, the pride in our country, and the young men on the field that represent all the best of what this country has to offer. It's just a really, really fun thing to be a part of, and great experience.
What advice would you give to kids that want to find success?
Yeah. Well, what we talk about in our program is success is your very best. And whatever it is that you decide to do, right, is your best, whatever that looks like. And I think there's no substitution for effort and for hard work. There's no substitution for consistency, right? We say it all the time in our program that consistency is a superpower. So once you've identified what your goals are and what you want to do, and you lay out a plan, you work extremely hard at that plan, and you do it on a consistent basis. And you're never afraid to fail in the process of doing that. And I think young people get turned off on a lot of things because they don't have success when they first start. And failure is part of the process. Failure is not a bad thing. It's a good thing as long as you're doing things the right way and you're giving great effort. And there's a lot to learn from failing, right? And so that's part of the process. And so to embrace the work and the process, which is more important than the outcome. I think when you've given your best to something, that gives you a certain peace of mind. And that's what we're shooting for in our program.
Good advice.
Thank you.
Where was your favorite place to go fishing?
Favorite place to go fishing? Any river that has trout in it would be my favorite place. But each summer, I haven't got to do it the last couple of years, but I go out to a place in Idaho called Island Park, Idaho, and there's several different places to fish, several different rivers, and it's about 30 minutes west of. You guys have heard of Yellowstone Park, right?
Yeah.
About 30
Yeah.
minutes west of the west entrance to Yellowstone Park. So you can go into Yellowstone and see that and fish there. You can fish in the south east corner of Montana. So it's a really, really pretty area, a lot of mountains. And where there's mountains, there's usually cold water streams, and there's usually trout in those streams. So I like to fish anywhere. I just like being out there.
That's all the questions we have, Coach. We want to thank you again for joining us today. Good luck with the rest of the season.
Thank you guys so much for doing this. I had a good time.
That's a wrap.
Nice job, girls.